Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2.5 first look at additions and features and whatnot. As you may be able to see at the moment, we are currently in the new underwater zone for coming in 2.5, just off the coast of Ember Isle, and I must say it's looking pretty bang tidy. If we get the map up, you'll see it's just to the left. There's this big lagoon with water rifts and carnage quest galore located in it. I actually haven't got around to doing the story yet, so I'm not entirely sure all the lore behind it and what kind of stuff you end up doing throughout this zone. But it's a fairly small zone, and I think it's mainly made to test out underwater content and what all that entails. Just looking at this is one of the new underwater rifts. Now they look slightly interesting. I mean, it looks like they've done a bit of a lazy job. They've kind of just stuck pre-existing objects together upside down and put a big portal on top of it and called it an underwater rifts. But the rifts themselves actually look fairly interesting. I mean, these two mobs here, one of them is channeling Dreaming and the other one's channeling Dream Surge. So essentially these guys are trying to put the fish to sleep. But I have no idea why. And I also saw a pretty cool rift, which was kind of like had an ice mound in the middle and looked fairly exciting. Just quickly popping over here to see if we can see any other sort of rift. But unfortunately, it appears to be the same one. But hopefully there'll be a bit more rift diversity when this bad boy hits live. Now, just one thing to point out, all around the zone are these things called Atgarian Gifts, which are these little crystals here, and when you click them you get a buff which increases swim speed and allows you to breathe underwater for 1 hour. Now, I think pretty much this zone relies on you constantly getting this buff, so you can easily and quickly swim around and navigate the area, while also not drowning, so that is a pro. But one of the things that I'm not too fond of is the fast swimming animation. It's kind of like I'm flopping up and down doing the worm in the water, and no, it's very interesting. I wouldn't mind if they sort of tried to adjust or change that. I think that might be a fairly good idea, because at the moment it does look a tad ridiculous. Anyways, another thing that has been introduced are 3 new planet achievement trees. There is Achievement of Nature, Cinder, and Storm. Now, Nature is basically, to access it, you need to have completed the Earth and Life. For Cinder, you need to have completed the Fire and Death, and for Storm, you need to complete the Water and Air. And now, while there's nothing too, unusual, new, or special, the only thing that I've noticed is there is a health regeneration increase rate, which I don't really see how sort of in combat or out of combat that would be of any benefit to anyone, really. But it certainly does look interesting. I mean, if you can regenerate a bit of health in combat, that may be a bit interesting, but it mainly looks like it would be out of combat, and it's only 0.5 every second or something for each node that you spend. But, so I don't really see it being game breaking or changing in any way. So, I mean, if we just go and have a look a bit more around these underwater zones, we can get a general idea of what it looks like. I mean, I absolutely love it. I think Ember Isle is the perfect place to do this. There's lots of pyramids, ruins, and all this kind of sunken stuff. And if we open the Chronicles menu, you'll notice there's 4 new Chronicles. Well, actually, only one of them is new, and that is Planebreaker Bastion Aftermath, and that tells the story of what happened in Planebreaker Bastion after Planebreaker, Abominus, and Inya Qatar have been defeated. So that's kind of set in the future-ish, if you would like it like that, because nobody's actually killed Planebreaker yet. And they actually have 3 other Chronicles, which are called Intrepids, and there's one for Greenscale's Blight, River of Souls, and Hamanel. Now, these sort of retell the story again, but in a level, well, they're exactly the same Chronicles, just tuned for level 60. And I've done quite a few of them, and they're very interesting to do and fun. But, they are exactly the same Chronicle, and it kind of does feel like, in comparison to the Storm Legion Chronicles, they are missing a bit of tender love and care. They could use, some mechanics that you have to avoid, because all of those Chronicles were really, really simple. They're kind of just like tank and spank the boss, kill and add. They didn't have all these cool, flashy AoEs that you had to dodge and mechanics you do, like the sort of Storm Legion Chronicles have brought in. But the sort of health-wise and difficulty-wise, I mean, they are there, but they just need a bit more mechanics and loving. But I doubt they're going to do that, in all honesty. And, I mean, these Intrepid Chronicles also tie into this thing that I've noticed, which is called a sinister presence, and this is a really peculiar thing. Much like in the realm of the Twisted Dreams, a sinister presence kind of randomly appears after you've killed a certain mob, and it's kind of like a mini boss. I'll probably attach a little video at the end of this about it. But what happens is you fight the sinister presence, and apparently there's one in each one of the chronicles, and there's a quest for it. And I'm not entirely sure what happens when you kill all of the sinister presences, but I'm hoping, there's some cool reward added as well. Anyway, just moving on, this is the Drowned Halls Intrepid Drowned Halls achievement. So they're adding that as another T1 10-man raid, and I believe that I don't think the actual raid is up yet, but the achievements are. So hopefully when that raid comes up, we'll have a nice look at it, see what happens. I don't think it'll be much different from the original Drowned Halls because all the bosses were the same, but it certainly looks like it's going to be a very interesting raid because Drowned Halls was one of my favourite ones, and it's going to nicely fill sort of the fairly large gear gap between Tier 1 and Tier 2 raiding, because it's going to be putting as a Tier 1 raid, so people can do it sort of right off the bat after they're raid ready, and it's going to be a nice challenge. So another thing is that I've noticed is on the Rift store there's something called wish lists. Now the way that this works is you sort of go into the store, maybe you see an item you like. What you can do is you can check the box above the item, so the top left-hand corner, and select how many you want, and then add it to your wish list. So maybe if, I don't know, you're getting paid next week, and you've spent ages scouring for a certain item in the store, but you can't find it, and, you can add it to your wish list, and when you get paid, or buy some credits, or whatever, then you can just go in, click your wish list, and find it. So, I mean, that's kind of a nice quality of life feature for shop navigation. But I fear it'll probably be bad for all you sort of shopaholics who like to go, oh yeah, I want that at a later date. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Don't have any money at the moment, but I'll soon be selling my kids on eBay to get some money. So yeah, good feature for you. Just, go really sort of briefly into the underwater combat and the feel for it, etc. With sort of the swim speed buff that those crystals lying about give you, it kind of feels like it's kind of a bit gimped, just because you can kite stuff constantly at range and it'll never reach up with you just because you're swimming so damn fast. I mean, it feels really fun, but I feel like in order for it to be, just not 3.0 kiting expansion, or just kiting all the way through this zone, they need to look at ways that mobs can uniquely damage you underwater if they're melee, or do something like that. I'm no genius at this kind of stuff, so I mean, if Triton can look into that stuff, then that would be pretty awesome, because at the moment it's kind of just a kite fest, really, which does kind of favour range people a lot, and I'm sure if they did that with a new expansion that favour range classes, I mean, with their history of hating melee, yeah, it wouldn't go down too well. Anyways, I think that pretty much covers it for the first look at 2.5, a few general stuff. There's also Conquest, which I covered in the weekly news roundup, but this is up on the PTS now, guys, if you want to check it out. If you want to see anything specific, feel free to let me know and I'll do a video on it. I've already done one on Planebreaker, but yeah, anything you guys want to see, let me know in the comments below, and I will do it. Cheers, guys.